Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's video. I wanted to talk to you about narcissism and the spiritual warfare through mind control. So let's jump in. The narcissist is dealing with demonic spirits. I go over this because it's not talked about a lot. Although some people do speak on it, they usually beat around the bush. And so I like to come at you straightforward, because if that's what it is, it's what it is, y'all. And that's fine and all, but eventually you have to decide to be a person who's going to believe in truth or believe the lies. I've just been a person that seeks out truth. Well, I get pushback sometimes from people online, and sometimes, I'll talk about things that aren't easy to talk about, but it's still the truth. I started this channel because I've dealt with something for over 4 decades and knew nothing about it. Whatever I did know about narcissism was not related to anything I was dealing with on a daily basis at the time that I was unawoke. This is the interesting. The stuff that I was spotting out, I didn't know where to place it because it didn't really fit a psychological disorder where it was a psych issue that was nameable. For the things that I had known about, I just knew certain things that I could do over time. When you've been with somebody for almost a decade, and then you've had these people in your family, you've had these people as some small short flings before, then you run into a heavy sociopath and you get destroyed by one of them. It just made someone like a borderline, who I thought that was the worst thing in the world. I thought they were just the worst thing ever, and the sociopath took the cake. They just keep getting worse. The longer that you deal with these, and if you don't stay with one individual, but you end up breaking up with them and they were a narcissist, you're going to get the next level. The first one that comes at you typically is a borderline, because the borderline is someone that preps you for the rest of them. They're the lowest level. They're the one that you can marry because they may not cheat. At least not until things get more rocky. I have to talk about the truth, y'all. Knowing that this is a spiritual situation and a psychological disorder, but it's more or less a personality disorder. I don't even think they label it a psychological disorder. This is whole narcissism is a whole weird situation as to how it's defined as. And I think you all can agree, because it's not as if there's any proof of too much of anything. Get into psychological disorders even, there's a whole lot of theory involved. You keep them at bay by slowing down some of the processes in the mind and the body. But it doesn't make it go away. Just for channel's sake, this is all for entertainment purposes only, okay? What I had started to realize with the narcissist is they have mind control built into them, because you're not dealing with just an individual that has got some sort of personality disorder. Because, come on, y'all, so they were hurt in childhood and it caused all this. And these guys are pinpoint on their evil. They're the epitome of evil. And you don't question whether they're dealing with anything demonic, any kind of demonic activity. And the people that do touch on this subject, most of them are either taking it from some sort of weird worldly perspective, when if there's demons, man, then you got to believe in God. How much either people want to deny the fact of God's existence or deny the fact that demons exist, or they want to believe demons, but they'd rather believe aliens than God or some other BS. But at the end of the day, truth is truth, man, and the whole thing gets back to good and evil and heaven and hell. And if people just do not want to hear it, the hard thing is this: even if you decided you didn't want to talk about it, you can't not talk about it, because it's intertwined in everything in society. Anytime you look into anything, it's going to get back to those two things. So to each his own, but it's kind of frustrating. But I started to realize mind control is a major issue in these individuals, and it's because the more that they get corrupted Now, this might go for more of the higher spectrum individuals, but the thing is they all will do this depending on the fuel they're on. The corruption's like this, however far they're willing to go with it, it will take them. And I think some of them go so far and tap the brakes in this cluster B situation. If they get desperate enough, or if they get fueled up enough, they all turn into similar to the same thing. The spectrum widens or it shrinks, depending on their comfortability. And that's my point. And that would work for everybody on their spectrum. Humanity has a spectrum. If you're extremely uncomfortable in a situation, I mean, if you're dealing with a war versus working a 40-hour-a-week job back into Homelander, the spectrum is going to widen if you're at war because you're going to be under more stress, but it's not going to cause this stuff. I'm just explaining it like that because you have regular humanity and they have a spectrum. They have an emotional field. I think that humanity deals with an emotional field of feeling good or bad, and the narcissist is more on a toxicity field of how well they're dealing with their comfortability of power, control, admiration, adoration, fawning, and fear in people. You know, that would be their type of spectrum. And our spectrum would be how comfortable are we in our satiety of our emotional field. Thoughts, emotions all run simultaneously together. What I have seen, how do they have the ability to mind control you? And a lot of it is through the emotional field. But the emotional field is something that comes from the mind. And it's the one thing that they hijack. They have the ability to access you mentally through your emotions, into your thought patterns, get through to your thoughts, and to influence your thoughts and your perceptions of how you view things. If they can affect your emotions, and if they can control your emotions, then they can control the patterns of thinking, your perceptions of thinking, and your thought patterns. And this is how they do it. It's not just feelings, but feelings and emotions are coupled together in processes. They're in certain regions of the brain where they develop, are able to be controlled and hijacked, like your limbic and your prefrontal cortex. Thoughts and emotions are interconnected. Thoughts can trigger emotions, emotional responses. Your emotional state of mind can influence behaviors. Mind control involves manipulating the thoughts and perceptions of another person, which could in turn affect the emotional state of the individual. This is all stuff that's supposed to be what they call fictional. How do you like that? They won't even label it. They call mind control, they call it fiction. But you best believe the CIA, the FBI, they know it's not fictional. And did you know that the CIA looks for sociopathic individuals and psychopathic individuals to work for them? Because they can lie and believe it, and they can manipulate in any situation. They enjoy it, and they can walk away from it with no emotions. When they lie, they can pass lie detector tests because they can make themselves believe the lie, not even get anxious about it. So this is what the CIA actually will tell you, and agents have spoke on this online. And I thought to look into it because I've looked into MK Ultra for years, and I've been on a lot of conspiratorial matters for years and years. And it's called MK Ultra. It's Mind Control Ultra. Except what happened after World War II, the United States and Great Britain and France, they took any of the German soldiers that were in the SS that would surrender, the upper echelon military and the scientists that would surrender to the Western Bloc came to America and to Great Britain and France. And if you look at certain things that occurred in 1945, 46, when did the CIA start? 1945. When did the war end? 1945. How many German higher echelon scientists and SS officers came to America? Well, 2,000 of them got asylum. Well, what were they doing over there? Our space program was a German space program. Walter von Braun was the head of our space program, and he was the one that blew up all of Europe with the V-1, V-2 rockets during World War II. It's called Project Paperclip. Look into it. And they came over here. We gave them asylum after the war, and they got facilities to run. And the K for MK Ultra, mind control, you spell control in German with a K, mind control ultra. And it was run out of Canada because if they ran it out of the US, they would get caught. So they had an easier time crossing the border and doing it up in Canada. But you'll also find a lot of other things that happen with fluoride. Fluoride was placed in these camps to numb and dumb people. It's Prozac. And bone's brittle. It does help you not get cavities, but they really put it in you to knock your IQ down and to numb you so that you would be more passive with things. There's only like 5 countries in the world that use fluoridated water because it's toxic. It's what's left over from making fertilizer. When they pour fluoride in the water, our water systems, this stuff will melt concrete, y'all. To get on beyond that, first, when they come in, how they would mind control you is how it's stated. Tell me if this doesn't sound like a narcissist. First impressions are huge. It's a big deal. It's everything because they got to get you comfortable. Then the mind is the laziest organ system, and they mention that, and I've told you all that. You have a first impression, right? You have an opinion of them through the first impressions. You kind of size them up, and you have a lazy mind. So they love bomb you. It's the same thing as a increased first impression. After time, you don't want to start looking at things and reassessing because your mind is lazy. So even if you do get inklings that things aren't right, your mind will probably tell you don't worry about it because you already assessed the person in the beginning and you vetted them okay. And that's how your mind will work because it's so lazy. And that's why you got to push yourself, and that's why they try to lullaby you to sleep. They give you a lot of attentions. Next thing, showering you and inquiring about your life and sniffing out the insecurities. Now tell me this doesn't sound like a narcissist when they come in. And then they shower you with compliments, and then they mirror you the best that they can. Then from there, they form through this safety and familiarity. Then what they do is they start up lies and hyper exaggerate from all angles. They find out what makes and breaks you. Then they tell lies and dramatic instances. And they make it seem as if they're telling the truth and it's innocent. And when they tell you these things, it gets you to really open up and appearing to be innocent. Then it causes you to let out all of your baggage as well. And you tell them everything. And this is where they're data mining you. We talk about data mining you. And then from there, you took the bait. And this is how they start to control you. This is the very beginnings of it. And this is exactly what it sounds like in the love bomb phase. They come in all sweet. They come in real quick. They come in, they flatter you. They give you a lot of attention, and they build you up. They get you comfortable and position you to where you feel really good. They find out wherever your deficits are, and they fill them in. They fill them in, meaning this. If you're depressed in one area of your life, they're going to make sure they fix it. They're going to find a way to fix it, and they're going to fill you up there. And once they fill you up in the little holes and plug the holes where you've had deficits, they make you feel beautiful for just a few days. And when they do that, then from there, you love and you trust them. Then they will cause, as they plug those holes, they also know where your deficits are. So if they're plugging holes in your deficits, then they also know how to unplug those holes and drop you down to the ground. Okay, and from there, so they know your weaknesses, and then they data mine you after they tell you lies and tell you dramatic situations that they've been through. This is what they would call the empathy test. And this is something all narcissists do. They will do an empathy check and an empathy test on you to see if you are going to be open to these dramatic lies that they're telling you, and see if you have empathy towards the situation or if you don't. If you do have empathy in the situation, they will continue to data mine you, and then what'll happen next is you will pour your heart out and tell them everything they want to know, because they already have shown vulnerability, complete vulnerability to you. And then from there, you took the bait, and now you're hooked. Now from there, they start to perform this ghosting and breadcrumbing and is hot in the skull until either you can't take anymore or they wear you out and drain you so far it's time to go to the next supply. By then they know you're hooked. And a lot of times what they do in that situation is they'll do a test on you where they'll ghost you for several days and see how long it takes for you to contact them. If you contact them right away and you can't quit trying to get a hold of them, they know they got you. If you're nonchalant about it and you keep your life going and you're not too concerned about why they're not around today, tomorrow, and the next day all of a sudden, well, they're going to come back and they're going to love bomb you more to make sure that next time that they ghost you, that's what you're going to do. So beware, y'all, because these fools is out there and they're out there to control you. And they start by getting in control of your emotional field. So if you can give me a like, subscription, and thumbs up, love y'all. Till next time, soldier up. Peace, be out.